tamarind sauce. So you take out tamarind, cook it down with some brown sugar, ginger. Delicious. Thank you.
No, no,
You have it.
And my grandmother, and then pretty much everybody called her Granny.
Right,
So
Granny
then
Rose.
I'll be walking through town and be like, "Hey, Granny, hi, Granny." It's always me. Just like, no, it's not your Granny, it's my Granny.
right. Back off. I understood that.
But I mean,
She was a pillar, if I could say this, of the society because she was essentially like the director of the YWCA. And many kids came through, of course, the Y. And I then realized where your love of cooking came because she fed not only kids but their parents. She fed the community.
the community.
Yeah. So that influenced you.
For many years, for sure, I was always in the kitchen. You know, she was always saying, "Hey, why don't you go outside and play?" I mean, cooking
I could miss something.
Was fun for me.
Right,
you know?
right. And now, talk a little bit though before we jump ahead about growing up in the Caribbean in the West Indies. I mean, we had wanted to do something during the Christmas time where in St. Vincent, which is unique to us, it's called Nine
Mornings.
9 mornings.
Yeah.
And that's for essentially 9 mornings. What would we do at home?
Yeah, so it's pretty much the 9 mornings leading up to Christmas. Well, pretty much you call it 4-day morning, so it's like before sun rises essentially,
Right.
and it's literally a party 9 days straight. So you wake up like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's a party. It's you're singing Christmas carols.
Right.
You're going from house to house, just like celebrating 9 mornings. 9 mornings leading up to Christmas, and then you celebrate Christmas, and then it's just like.
But I want to back up because when my mother said that they went to 9 mornings, back then there was no electricity on the road and all that. So they'll go from house to house, right? And throw stones on knock. Or I think there was a recitation on good night to the lady and the gentleman of the house, we blah blah, and I have a recitation that they would say. And if you were lucky, you were either greeted, stoned, and I mean, like some people did not want to be bothered, but then they would go and gather, and it was different. But now it's almost.
I also heard stories that people would save up the.
You not didn't want to say. I didn't want to say. Come here. We're trying to have a good image here, but it's the truth. They would save up stuff and throw it at you. Please understand that was in the earlier part of the 20th century when TV and cable was not existing. But no, but it's a tradition that's only in St. Vincent, and we had wanted to get together and do like a little tribute to that, but that didn't happen. But we're doing it today.
Yeah.
We're doing it today. Tell me, what are your fondest memories about growing up in St. Vincent?
Growing up, it's pretty much there was no like going out to eat. You know, it's like my grandmother woke up. She would cook lunch, we'll have lunch, we'll have breakfast, we'll come home, we'll make dinner, we'll have dinner, go into market. So every Saturday I went to market with my dad.
Yeah.
You know, which is now it's just like you come to America and it's just like, oh, you go to the farmer's market and you have your paper
Vibrant
bag
experience,
and it's
yeah.
just like, I've been doing that, you know, pretty much
All your life.
all my life.
Yeah, because the experience in the Caribbean, in the marketplace, you have to realize the farmers come and bring their goods to town in a centralized area, and the bidding starts. How much is that? No. All right, I give you, and it was the whole interaction.
And pretty much the island is 125 square miles. So everything that you see in front of you came within a 100-mile radius. You know, there's no like, oh, it came from here. No, it came from the soil.
Right.
Oh, your
Volcanic
fish came
soil.
from
Right.
there, or your mutton, your beef, your goat came from this farmer
Right.
that's so proud to like raise this cow and could pretty much like. We didn't grow up with like cuts of beef. We were just like, oh, here's your filet mignon, here's your
Right.
New York strip. It was beef.
It would be that we'd hear things like, this cow was old. I'm still chewing it. There was no cut of beef. You're right. Oh, we got a good cut of beef today. Right, you're right. There was no filet mignon. Right, that's true.
Yeah.
When did you come to the U.S.?
I came to the U.S. in 1999.
Okay, so
Right
translated.
before Y2K, if you remember Y2K.
Sir, I think many people are still in therapy before I took it. But how old were you?
I was 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was that transition like?
It was weird. I mean, in St. Vincent, pretty much after fifth period, it was lunch. So when I started high school, I would just go to the cafeteria after fifth period for lunch, but I actually had a class. So I had an ESL class because they think that you don't speak English.
I know. They were shocked when they tested me. Oh, you speak well.
I mean, we were an English colony before we gained our independence, you know?
Work with me to work with you. Yeah, I really got to work on the attitude.
I got past that. Pretty much, so I went back to the motherland just to understand, in my eyes, the translation of cuisine from those of us that were shipped to the Caribbean and those of us that were shipped to America, and just understand the roots and how the cuisine translated based on the ingredients available to you. And I got that opportunity, and now I understand it for myself. Similarities, definitely. More similarities than anything else. For example, like over here, like celebrate jambalaya.
Right.
Jambalaya is a derivative of jollof rice.
Isn't that something?
Pretty much. And then whenever I cook jollof rice, it's just like, is it Ghanaian jollof or Nigerian jollof?
Right. And you gotta be specific.
I have to read the room first, So you walk around and you take a vote. And it's
right.
How much Ghanaians in here? All right. How much Nigerians? All right.
Okay. Right. So and you even spoke to me, off camera about even the experience again of the marketplace and the vibrancy and the colors and the freshness of the food and how it still translates now.
For sure, and it's eaten seasonally and what's available to you, and that's the best thing to do. Celebrate the ingredients, celebrate the season, which shows the appreciation for food and the understanding that someone took care to grow this vegetable for you. It's nothing mass produced or like GMOs where it's just like a run of the mill and it's just like, oh, everything has to look the same, and it's just like eat real food and celebrate with real people and just good energy, creating your own unique experience.
I know a couple people have a couple of questions. I know this lady right here, Joanne, has a question.
So earlier in our conversation, you mentioned that you went to school back in St. Vincent and Grenadines, and you left at Form 3?
Yes.
Right. So how was the transition from there, in Form 3, coming to the USA and entering high school here?
It was rough. I mean, so I grew up in St. Vincent, Stony Grounds, and pretty much across the river from Stony Grounds was St. Martin Secondary School, so I could hear the bell ring and actually walk over to school and still make it in time. And it was an all-boys school, so then pretty much coming here was like a mixed of everything. Pretty much it was just like I grew up, wearing a uniform. It's just like, no, you don't wear a uniform. You just go to school, and it's just like the discipline just wasn't there. I wasn't used to just running around and taking a bus and
that's a whole different world.
And then pretty much there, the teachers came to you, and then coming here, if you had English class, you had to go around the corridor. If you had math class, it was someplace else. We just sat there, and then all the teachers came to us.
We had to go to classes like that. We would stop and be talking to it would be a whole different story. And also, we come from an era where we used to go home for lunch.
Yes.
That was a big deal too. So that's different. And this is a teacher asking you, because I know she knows both worlds. So that's definitely. Did somebody else, Susanna? Did you have a question?
I think Alex had
okay.
About your grandmother and cooking.
Yeah, you spoke about your Granny Rose.
Yeah.
Did she teach you how to cook?
She definitely taught me how to cook, and just being around her and just the appreciation of there wasn't a recipe. It's not like she came and said, okay, we're going to make callaloo soup. Turn to page 67. We're going to make callaloo soup. It's just you put the greens in the pot, you put the meat in the pot, you make sure it tastes good, you taste it again, you serve it, and then it's done, But she definitely had a love for not just cooking, but making other people happy and taking food as a nourishment, because she took a huge liking to kids and underprivileged families.
Yes.
She even like adopted kids because pretty much at some point it was just me and her living in a house, and she didn't feel as if I should grow up by myself. So she started adopting kids to pretty much make me feel as if I'm like a part of this like family, you know, which is great. And I appreciated, you know, that part of the journey.
Right.
And then coming here in '99 to live with my mom, like I said, and pretty much, she pretty much put me on the right track where it's just like, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna do great, you know what I mean? You're gonna pick something that you love, which I knew I wanted to cook. So my senior year of high school, I did an externship at Tribeca Grill.
Wow.
Pretty much started garde manger, so I was like making salads, stuff like that, and pretty much I worked my way up to executive chef after 14 years. So that's pretty much working the entire brigade system, where it's just like you start at the garde manger, you go to saute, you go to pasta, you go to grill station, become turn on. So turn on means that you could work all the stations in the kitchen.
Wow.
After that, then you become a sous chef, so you become a supervisor for everyone in the kitchen. After that, then you become pretty much chef de cuisine, where it's like you're now in charge of the entire kitchen. After that, executive chef, where you're in charge of the restaurant, where you're not doing the cooking, but you're more of like the face of the restaurant.
Wow.
And then pretty much I left the restaurant world because I needed to not be this mystery person anymore, you know, to like go to my kids' like birthday parties, and it's just like, oh, somebody's getting married next Saturday, could you go? Yes. So like having this like corporate structure Monday to Friday pretty much allows me to do these things.
To have a life.
To have a
Work-life
life.
balance.
I
Really
do miss it. I mean, there's an adrenaline rush in being a restaurant chef that, you know, it's like chasing a dragon, you know, for lack of a better term.
Wow. Wow.
But
It's a visual. Wow.
yeah. But it's like, it's that adrenaline rush. It's like it's Friday night, and you know, you look down and it's like you got 20 tickets on the board, and it's just like, okay, hey chef, De Niro just walked in. He wants sauteed spinach with garlic, and it's just like, okay,
Right.
where am I gonna cook this spinach? De Niro doesn't care. He wants that spinach.
Right, that's right. He doesn't care. Right.
You go and he did this thing where it's just like, I want it sauteed in olive oil until it's crispy, and you have to take out the crispy pieces of garlic, then saute the spinach in the garlic scented oil. After you finish sauteing that, he wanted
in
it
your head.
garnished.
In your sleep, I could talk to you about that. Are you in therapy for that? Make sure you take it out and you use that scented oil.
And then you'll be on the
Flavor.
line just like sauteing stuff, and then you just feel somebody like put like their hand behind you, like, excuse me, and it's him just like bolting down because he's like running away from paparazzi.
Wow. Through the back?
Through the back, yeah.
Talk to me about your sister. You said she's your biggest critic.
Yeah, my biggest critic, my biggest supporter, pretty much is just like, she's a chef also, so it's like iron sharpens iron, you know? So it's just like, she went to Johnson Wills, J-Boo. So it's just like I run ideas off of her. She's like, I'm the guy that comes up and just like, I think this would be great, you know? And then she would want to be like, okay, well, did you have eggs for the cake? And then I'd be like, oh, no, I didn't have eggs.
You had big picture.
You know? Yeah.
But not eggs. I hear you.
You know, so, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate to have very strong female roles in my life that I definitely look up to and appreciate.
Really the things that you have accomplished thus far, and I could only imagine how much further you're going to go.
Yeah, man, time will tell. I definitely am passionate, you know,
You are.
About cooking, and I love watching people eat. I love watching people, you know, enjoy, you know, what I've created,
100%.
you know, but it's so many different facades to, you know, the hospitality industry and what route you want to take. For like me, I just want to mentor as much as
That's so important.
as much as I can, because if you don't pass down the knowledge that you learned, then what's the point of learning it?
Just spoke about that. Susanna and I just spoke about that, and another
So-
guest just spoke about that. You know, what I want to say about you, and I'm pretty sure others who have met you and kind of got the feel for you, is that you're such a warm person.
Thank you.
You know, very friendly. It's one thing to be able to cook food, but you're not arrogant. So you draw us to the table, not just only by your food, but by your warmth, your inclusivity, you know, that sort of thing. You were just somebody who we would want to not only do business again with, but be around.
It's a negative and a positive.
I'm going to highlight the positive right now. We're not going to talk about the people who tried to stalk you. We're not going to talk about that. And I really just want to say that the reason why I wanted to do this is that I wanted to highlight you. I just, you know, just detected that your humility, just you were leading with that. Okay, and I wanted other people, I know many people know you, but I want other people to know that they too can have the Rose experience.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I wanted also to take this opportunity for the guests that are here today, that we could always know that we're more alike than we're different, and food is the great uniter of everybody. And in these tumultuous times, we could agree to disagree. That's not a problem. However, it doesn't take away from the human experience, the experience of... Thank you for joining me on yet another episode of Rosie Talks Life, as we spent a wonderful evening with Chef Kamal Rose and the culinary and exemplary Rose experience. It was truly an honor to interview him. Please like and subscribe to my channel on YouTube and Facebook at Rosie Talks Life. Bless up.